What is up, my fellow Guardians? Today, I would like to answer a question I feel like I get asked a lot by a lot of friends, and just really people that I come in contact that ask what games I play the most of, and especially when Destiny 2 comes up among the top of the list. So the reason I'm still playing Destiny 2 in 2025, ultimately, I guess, and this was a topic that I feel like I might as well touch upon because I saw Cross even talk about it, and it made me think about it. But let's start off by saying, for me personally, the game has obviously been around for quite some time now, almost, collective 10 total years just of playing the game or Destiny itself. And I think it's really easy to look from the outside in and potentially wonder why anyone would be, logging into Destiny 2 every single day / week or, whatever that may be. But for me personally, I'd have to say the answer is honestly pretty simple. And that's just that Destiny 2 really is one of a kind. And as much as people in the community like to discredit it, I think that personally for me in the video, I'd be able to break down exactly why I'm going to continue playing it and why I have continued playing it throughout the years. So first and foremost, it has an incredibly unique mix of content, in my opinion. Now, when I say that it is really one of a kind, I really do mean that. You've got the looter-shooter aspect of the game, finding and chasing after weapons that really feel different. They have different weapon models, different foundries, different, audio responses, audio cues, the intrinsics on the weapons. I love the variety of the weapons and the perks. And you've also got the first-person shooter aspect. And the first-person shooter aspect is probably the thing that draws me to it the most. It has that very, very polished Bungie gameplay that, in my opinion, is still one of the best in the business, truly. I feel like something about the feeling of shooting a gun, shooting at enemies in Destiny 2 is extremely responsive. It just feels good when you shoot an enemy, you see those damage numbers pop up and you know it's coming from you. And then obviously you have the endgame raids, the dungeons, the PvP, and all the things wrapped up into one package. I know the PvP support for the game has been relatively lackluster over the years. It seems like the PvP support team, I do believe, was kind of downsized and thrown onto other projects, so it seems like it's gotten a lot of light taken away from that aspect of the game, but that doesn't take away from the feel of the game itself for me. I'm primarily a PvE player, but I did used to play a lot of PvP, so I'm not saying that PvP is bad, it's just something that I feel like could use a little bit of work right now. There's simply no other game, honestly, that blends all of those elements together, I think, the way that Destiny and Bungie has done. And I've tried other shooters, honestly, other looter shooters nonetheless, and even ones that, I'd like to like Borderlands or Warframe don't necessarily scratch the itch, and other games that I feel like have kind of brought me to that feeling long ago were like, Division 1 in its early days prior to some of the patches that were made. They just don't scratch that itch the same way that Destiny does with their combination of PvE and PvP. And the thing about the PvE and the PvP in Destiny, as much as you don't like it, is having that tether to different activities. As much as people from PvE don't like having to step into PvP or vice versa, something about having a limited time weapon or a weapon that won't always be available be something that you can go snag from a different game mode. It adds a level of rarity or specialness to a certain weapon, which is why I feel like there's so much community backlash whenever you do have things like sunsetting or the seasonal mods, essentially like making a lot of weapons that are already in the game and a lot of people's favorites basically useless throughout the season. Now, Section 2, we can talk more about it, like I said, the shooting, but it's really the feel of the game. Like, features alone obviously aren't enough to carry the game that's been around this long, and it's been around for quite some time, and for it to be around this long, for it to look as good as it does and play as well as it does, I have to give Bungie my respects. I think that Destiny absolutely nails that, and that is really ultimately what keeps me coming back is the feel of the game. The moment-to-moment gameplay is incredibly smooth, in my opinion, responsive, and honestly, it's just fun, especially whenever you're playing with friends. Whenever you're doing a brand new raid or a brand new dungeon on contest mode, as painful as it may be, something about that experience and having that shared PvE experience with friends is something that's unmatched, especially in the FPS PvE shooter looter genre. You don't see it, and if you do, I'd be extremely hard pressed, and I would love you to leave some comments in the comment section because I love looter shooters. Destiny is the one that really got me into it. And the idea of an RPG is really, I feel like Destiny is kind of at the forefront of that. I didn't realize how much I enjoyed a interconnected world prior to playing Destiny 1, truth be told. I think even with the bugs here and there, obviously we've had quite a few, but when Destiny is working as intended, it really does feel incredible to play. That polish is honestly something that Bungie deserves credit for, I think. because a lot of games don't age this well mechanically. Yes, Bungie very well may be, comparable to the analogy. I think it's the ship of Theseus, or whatever it is that Vision says in the movie whenever he's talking to the clone of the Vision, where you ask if Bungie is still the Bungie that we know and love. And I feel like the hard truth that we have to accept is it has been so long, there's been so many positional changes that no, it can't really be the Bungie that we 100% know and love. Can we still support Bungie and all of their endeavors and efforts to make Bungie a better game? Yes. But over time, obviously, we've had a lot of talent leave Bungie, a lot of developers, a lot of heads of different departments, and things been downsized and a lot of layoffs. So it can't necessarily be the same Bungie that we have known for years. But the game, as I said, has aged so well mechanically that it's almost hard to tell that the game hasn't been being supported until you get in the game and you notice some of the features, some of the bottlenecking of the portal, and it just seems like they're trying to make a lot of changes in a transitional phase, and that's what this really feels like, because ever since Final Shape, I feel like they've been really struggling to find their footing with Destiny 2. One of the most enticing aspects of Destiny for me is the weapon chase. You have an incredible weapon sandbox, and I say incredible with a smile on my face because I know there's a lot of people that may or may not disagree. But the arsenal of Destiny 2 and the weapons that they do have, if they would support them rather than, I think, exposing them to absurd levels of power creep and focus on trying to find ways for their weapons to fit into their game like puzzle pieces rather than constantly introduce new ones, I think they would do a lot better. And that's just my personal opinion. It's not really just about the numbers of the weapons themselves either. It's like every new season or every expansion, there's a handful of guns that Bungie puts out that change the way you approach the game. And even if it's a quote-unquote bad season, some of the weapons almost make it better as a Destiny player, because you kind of have a certain expectation out of Bungie at this point in time. But when you get new guns in each season, I know some of my personal favorites that have been added over the years. You got like Brigand's Law, Mirror Imago, the Seventh Seraph, not Seventh Seraph, sorry, the Retrofit Escapade. Just weapons that have been added over time throughout different seasons that may or may not have seemed like the best seasons, but some of the worst seasons have produced some of the better weapons. And I think that's a testament to the variety that Destiny adds as a continuously supported game. Constantly having that variety to add to your subclass, your build, or your play style, and approach the game the way that you want to. And honestly, when you get one of those god rolls that you've been looking for quite some time, it really is one of the best feelings that you can get in gaming. Honestly, this is a long road that Bungie has been on, and I'm far from blind to the flaws, the bugs, the things that they've had issues, the plagiarism, and some of the artwork issues. But, obviously not every decision has been great. The fact that the game has been supported over a decade, is something impressive. They announced a 10-year plan way back when, and here we are in 2025, still logging into Destiny, raiding, farming loot, and that kind of longevity simply doesn't happen by accident, in my opinion. I think it's proof that Destiny does have something special, and even if it isn't always perfect. So I guess to conclude it ultimately, why do I personally still play Destiny 2 in 2025? I think it's because it's a unique game that hasn't been replicated, because the gameplay still feels incredible, and also because it just gives me experiences with friends that no other game does or has. And also, I just believe that for all the ups and downs, I think Destiny is still a world worth personally investing in. I love the gameplay, love the game, and obviously love where the game started and the inception of it. At the end of the day, Bungie has built something that stands apart from the crowd, and as long as Destiny keeps delivering that blend of loot, raids, dungeons, and PvP, I think I'll honestly keep playing the game. It's just something that I find a little bit harder to knock than others. What do you guys think? Obviously, let me know in the comments. Are you still playing Destiny 2 in 2025? And if so, what keeps you coming back, and what will keep you coming back? But with that being said, it's been your boy Tarek here at SGN. Peace.